Hello, everyone. I'm Ellen McCloskey, and this is my Module 3, Leadership Styles and Ethics. Throughout this presentation, I'm going to be reflecting on my leadership style, characteristics, traits, and ethics. According to Murphy 2015, there are 4 different leadership styles. They're the pragmatists, so that makes up 8 to 12% of the population, idealists, which makes up 15 to 20% of the population, stewards, which make up 15 to 20% of the population, and diplomats, which make up 50 to 60% of the population. I'm a diplomat, so I rate high in feeling and lower in structure, directiveness, and challenge. When I first read this, I was a little bit offended by my own results, but I relate to the personal bonds with employees. Relationship building is important to me, and resolving conflict peacefully is important to me. Even in my current role, I see myself valuing the relationships that I have with various staff members. According to the Leadership Compass Self-Assessment by Be the Change Consulting 2010, I scored on the west part of the compass with analytical, and none of the boxes that I checked on any of the other areas were even close to the amount that I scored on this analytical piece. I like to gather all information prior to making decisions, and I like decisions to be information and data-based. I'm dependable, and if I say I'm going to complete something, I definitely will, and it will be on time. I'm careful by following instructions and rules. This also applies to relationship building for me as well. I'm balanced, and I like to see all sides prior to making a decision. Aguilar 2014 states that the traits that make a great leader are that they're visionary, so meaning that they're clear about what he or she believes in and they know what's best for children for academic, social, and emotional learning. They collaborate with stakeholders in order to create that mission and vision statement. They're community builders, so meaning that they don't perform things alone. They understand that high-functioning teams are essential. They're very focused on connections and bonds, and they feel like a healthy community will create stability, retention, and investment. And finally, emotional intelligence, which is the ability to understand and manage your own emotions and recognize and understand and manage the emotions of others. So it's someone who is able to keep themselves calm and grounded. And emotional intelligence in a leader has been found to be the #1 predictor of an organization's ability to be successful. So in terms of these leadership traits, I feel like I very much connect to many of them, especially with the community builder. So ensuring that there are connections and bonds, and ensuring on the emotional intelligent piece that I stay calm and grounded in order to make headway with staff and where we're headed. Tracy 2019 states that the traits that make a good leader are vision, courage, integrity, empathy, humility, focus, cooperation, clear communication, honesty, empathy, and the ability to delegate. And I feel like I perform all of these traits to some extent. And I feel like it's some of them are a little bit stronger for me than others, but I do feel like I see those in my current practices. Leadership ethics gets difficult to define because it's there's always the question of who decides what is ethical. Ethical leadership is the process of influencing people through principles, values, and beliefs. And this is according to Horton 2015. And that it is built on positive relationships because they are the gold standard for all organizational effort. And by upholding the organization's mission and values, you are then working as a team to figure out what risks there are in order to safeguard the reputation of the institution or the organization. And so ethics plays a large role into leadership, because if you are not an ethical leader and if you are not making decisions that are influencing people through principles, values, and beliefs that go back to your mission and value statement, then you're actually doing your staff a disservice. So in my own practice, I know that I practice ethics because I'm always keeping the staff members or the people in mind first. And it goes back to that relationship building piece for me as well. So I want to make sure that I do have those positive relationships and that our mission and values are being upheld. According to Christianity 9-5, 2013, I feel like my leadership style closely relates to the servant leadership theory. So that means that I'm identifying and meeting followers' needs, and that trust and cooperation and reciprocal service are all a part of my leadership theory, because I feel like with this servant leadership theory, it comes alive with the relationship building piece for me. And it goes back to that diplomat piece for my leadership style, that I really take into account the personal bonds and making sure that conflicts are resolved peacefully. These qualities, these leadership qualities that I have been observed and learned. And I feel like I've watched, because I have many people in my family in education, so I feel like I've watched them be diplomats and have that kind of servant leadership theory in practice with their leadership style. And I also feel like it's learned, because in my current position, I've had to figure out how to provide the best feedback to different staff members. And I've kept the relationship piece at the forefront of my work. And so I do feel like there are different ways where the school and students and staff are being impacted by my own leadership style. When taking a look at my own leadership style, I do see that there are areas that need to be improved or areas that need to be adopted. One of those areas would be improving in my conflict management style, because I enjoy keeping the relationship at the forefront of everything. And so oftentimes I want to solve conflict quickly, and I want to make sure that no one's feelings are hurt throughout the conflict. And I also feel like that can sometimes get in the way of leadership, because when making those different conflict decisions, I feel like feelings can't play such a large role in these decisions. And also with decision making, I feel like that's something that I need to improve upon, because I do like to look at all areas and make sure that I'm making a balanced decision and making sure I'm making a data-driven decision. So it can sometimes be a slower process, and that doesn't always work well in a leadership role. And I also, on the challenge piece, I don't exactly enjoy the conflict or the challenge piece. And so I'm always wanting things to be resolved peacefully. And that's not always something that can happen in those leadership roles. So just being able to improve in those areas would make me a much better leader. For the standard correlation, this assignment demonstrates correlation to Standard 2, Component 2.1, 2.2, and 2.3 by addressing how to advocate for ethical decisions, cultivate and enact professional norms, reflect on, communicate about, cultivate, and model professional dispositions and norms to promote student and staff well-being. This assignment required me to read articles about the characteristics and traits of a great leader and reflect on my own leadership style. Additionally, it required me to reflect on the traits I need to develop and how ethics applies to great leadership. This assignment is relevant to my current learning because it allowed me to reflect on my own leadership style and qualities and how they apply to my current role. As an IEP specialist, I'm in more of a leadership role than I was while I was a teacher, and I believe it is important to understand your own leadership style and the leadership style of others. Additionally, by learning about various leadership styles, I can work to improve in the areas that I'm weak in to ensure I'm providing the best feedback and leadership to staff. This assignment improved my understanding of the content covered because I learned about my leadership style and how it impacts others. This assignment will influence the decisions I will make as a future school leader because prior to stepping into a school leadership role, I will understand my own leadership style and how it impacts staff. Additionally, it provides me the opportunity to improve in the areas that need to be developed. It also impacts the decisions I will make as a future school leader because the readings and reflection made me realize how important ethics are in school leadership. All the decisions I will make will be rooted in ethical leadership. And these are the references that I used in order to guide this presentation. Thanks for watching.
Created using Powtoon.